Hey everyone, welcome back to Ontario Gardening. So we are in full spring. A lot of you have your milking cows, given lots of milk out. So we are going to show you how to make butter if you don't already know how. So if you have your own cows and you're having milking animals, you're going to want to separate your cream from it and use your heavy cream from the top. If not, and that's as simple as just letting your milk sit and the cream will rise to the top. And if you are not in a position where you have milking animals, heavy whipping cream does the trick as well. I've got some cream here and we are going to show you how to whip it into butter. It really doesn't take anything other than your cream and a mixer. So whether you have a stand-up mixer or a hand mixer will work as well. Obviously, it's just going to take a little bit more manual labor than just whipping it in a mixer. So you want the whisk in a mixer setting and you want something to go around the top. The butter will start to kind of get sploshy, if that's a word, and spray. Is sploshy a word? I don't know if sploshy is a word.
It is today.
It's today. So we have a little guard that came with our KitchenAid, so we're going to use that, but a towel works just as well. If you just did like a dish towel around it, it's just preventing the splashback. So go ahead and we're going to add our cream to our mixer. And now it is as simple as getting our mixer started. I'm going to put it on a 2. But I'm also going to make sure to put that splash guard on it, because I don't want none of that business on here. And it's going to be simply leaving it to mix. Okay, so I let it go for about a minute on number 2. Now I'm going to flip this to a 7 or an 8 in order to really get this whip on, because we're going to hit whipped cream first and then it will separate. So turn it to a 7 and let it go for about 5, 10, 15 minutes. You'll know when it happens and I'll show you what that looks like. So here we are at number 7 and it's giving it a good whip now. You can also do this with a food processor or a blender. It's just going to be the easiest in a mixer. Not sure if you can hear me, but here it is. So see how it's thickening up. Instead of yelling over the mixer, I just thought I would show you. But see how it's like turning into almost like a real whipped cream. So we're on our way. This is a good sign. We're going to keep on going. So about a minute or 2 after the whipped cream stage, we're now going into a stiff whipped cream, cottage cheese looking situation here. Keep going. Hey Phoebe, we forgot to tell them something. Phoebe. Just a little pause in the video. So as I was editing, I realized that I didn't tell you a little bit of information that I wanted to. So before we get to the finished butter, I want to add, if your butter isn't working for whatever reason, if it's not turning, if it's not going into the whipped cream and then into like the cottage cheese look, here's a couple of pointers. My first one is don't overfill your bowl, whether it's in the mixer, whether you're doing hand mixer, a food processor, a blender, no more than halfway. That's a good starting point. The second part is to make sure it's at least 35% cream if you're buying it from the store, or it's the cream from the milk of your cow. So make sure you're not using the milk part. You want at least 35%, a really high fat content. And the last tip that I have is to make sure that that cream is fresh out of the fridge. As cold as you can get it. Once it gets warm, it kind of has a hard time turning. So just make sure that it is as cold as you can get it without freezing, and that's gonna help you out. And just make sure it's really agitating as well. So if it's not turning, turn up your mixer if it's not already as high as it will go, and just keep turning it up and keep turning it up, and it eventually will go. Make sure you have that splash guard ready. Anyways, moving on. Okay, and about 15 minutes after that, my splash guard is an absolute mess, and even with the splash guard, I still nailed some of my kitchen appliances. So once it starts getting really sloshy in there and you take off whatever's covering and you can see the butter and the buttermilk over here, because that's what this is, it's buttermilk, save that in a separate container because that's liquid gold for stuff and super expensive if you buy it. But this is our butter. So now we want to get all of this out of here and we're going to put it into an ice bath. So you want to just mold it all out of there and squeeze out as much of the buttermilk as you can. And then once you're done that, you want to put it into your ice bath. So I've got some ice and just some cold water here. And now we're going to move to the tap. And we're just going to wash it and we're going to keep squeezing out. We're going to rinse, squeeze out. We're basically just squeezing out, and if you have to break it into 2 smaller sections to make your life easier, that's fine, because we're just squeezing out all of that excess buttermilk. The more buttermilk that's in your butter, the faster it will go rancid. So we're just going to do that for the rest of this butter. And now you're just wanting to take a paper towel and dry it off. Now is the time you can add some salt to the top if you're wanting it to be a salted butter. Mind the tools on the counter. We're building stuff today. So I'm going to save some for myself to eat now, but I like to freeze mine. So I take a parchment paper and I just roll it over like this. And I kind of just like squeeze it into a log. And then I just wrap the ends. And then I can freeze it like this, nice and easy. You can put it in a Ziploc bag too. You can wash your hands in between so your hand's not all buttery. But that is what I do to make butter. And that is pretty much it. That is homemade butter. Super quick, super easy. And don't forget to strain out and save that buttermilk. Talk to you later. Bye. So I just personally use a canning jar. I've got my canning funnel so nothing gets spilt. And then just this strainer on top. This way, if there's any butter in here, it's just gonna strain out. Because I don't really want chunks of butter if I'm baking or making something with this buttermilk later. Look at that, folks. That would be like $10 at the store. Anyways, I guess I wasn't buying it. Now I can talk to you later. Bye.